Okay, welcome back to episode 2 of The Homegrown Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Patrick Gaul, and right now we're filming live on Twitch Media. That's what I keep referring to, am I right? I appreciate all the buzz we got for our first podcast. The first official podcast was a success in my book. We had something around 36 likes, and we also had, I'm sorry. We had 45 views and looks like 6 likes. So that's a success. It's just our first launch. We're going to continue to press more content and get better. You might be able to tell that the visual quality is a lot better. The video quality is a lot better. I went out and got a video camera. And I've got a new backdrop working. I think I'm going to change this up. But for the most part, I'll keep this same format and then just change a bit of the backdrop for the next one. So one of the questions I got from the last podcast was, how did you start your business? How did you start the website in particular? I'm going to turn the headphones down. So how do you start the website in particular? So the first thing I wanted to touch on when I was asked that question was, where did my motivation come to learn website building? And basically, we knew we had to create a valid, like a reason for us to be able to get to interview entrepreneurs. So I decided we have to push forward with a website that looks clean and built with content and looks like it could be built to scale. So they think, where am I going to be included in this? But mostly, we needed to declare validity with traffic, which is what we're working on. So that was why I needed to do this. So when we got the website and my business partner Mike started working on it, overnight he had basically created a web page, a homepage, a blog page, and a contact page. Just 3 basic pages on the website. So the first thing I did to make a website is I went to WordPress.com, and basically they have a step-by-step tool of how to launch it. We can go over a tutorial later if anyone is interested. I'd be happy to film a tutorial. But basically it's a step-by-step process that you just click through. You get a domain name. And I think the entire process was about $40, but afterwards you have a login to WordPress that'll put you into the back end of whatever your domain name is so you can start creating. I wasn't necessarily involved with the right away initial creation of the website. That was a lot of Mike. He came in and created the like I said, the 3 pages I mentioned. But I have been doing a lot of editing for them and basically recreating them and putting them back in because they were kind of built with a cheaper version of WordPress, whereas now we have a more expensive version that gives us more plugins. So the way to build a website is it's actually pretty simple with WordPress. It's pretty much drag and drop. You think of it as if you were creating any other social media page. MySpace was big on this. You would just insert blocks and put what you want in there: content, video, text, written word, comment boxes. There's all these plugins for all these different things. So you basically just go in there and drag and drop. It's kind of the process you do. And it's kind of an entire just array of thought. It follows a track of thinking, like how do you want what you're going to be offering to be displayed? So if you go around looking for layouts, you might find some blog ones, which will have lots of blocky conversational topics, so it can break down big blogs and put them into a header and some text strings so that it gives you a brief description. Or you could do something like a podcast, which focuses more on the audio output or the visual and audio output. We went for the simple one. It's called Nodestar. You just kind of scroll straight through the entire thing. So your homepage, you just keep scrolling through and you'll find out more information from us. That was kind of our ideal website for what we're trying to do, which is a blog, podcast with information. We're going to include some more pages here in a little bit. To get back on the website, so one of the first things I did when I got my hands on it after I saw all the pages he created and helped go over them with him, how he did it, it really wasn't very hard to learn from him what he actually did. Like I said, it's drag and drop, very simple process. What I did learn, though, is that what I had learned is that if we're going to push our content out there, we need to make sure that we're on the top search engines and the top results for what we're looking for when people are looking for something like what we are. So that's SEO, search engine optimization. One of the first things you learn when you're getting into that is that you need to reach out to Google and Bing and any other search engines. I really only focus on those two, but I think there's a few more that have left me. I think Baiduku or something. Don't quote me on that last one. So you go over there and you tell them, crawl my website. It's all through the SEO engines. I downloaded Yoast. Yoast is what I prefer to use. It's a top-rated WordPress plugin that you can get whenever you're getting the business professional version. And so I downloaded Yoast. It basically tells you need to walk through these steps in order to optimize your search engine or your search results on a given search engine. So you go to Bing separately. And while you're on Bing, you go into their console, similar to Google Console, which is something I can give more information on if you have any questions about it. But they're basically kind of like a central hub of where you're going to collect your analytics and how you can operate your website and digital footprint is what I call this through Google. So Google Console, and Bing has its own version of Bing Console, I think, or something around those lines. But it's about how you can operate your digital footprint through there. As you say, you own the property, so you go in there, type in your website, and you claim that you own this property, and then it'll start mapping it. They call it crawling. So they're going to basically send digital shockwaves down into the internet-osphere and basically click on anything and connect with anything that your brand has to do with. So we have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a website, and then all the relationships between those. It's just mapping it out right now to see what we're worth. And so on Bing, if you Google Homegrown Entrepreneur, you'll pull us up on the 2nd and the 5th topic as of earlier today. Where Google, we've been having trouble mapping because of a robots.txt, which I mentioned earlier, has something to do with keeping Google and Bing from identifying certain pages or tabs on your website. So that way it doesn't just show up in a Google feed when you want it to be more private for your subscribers. So that's kind of been the route we took. I think SEO is one of the first big focuses I had, because once we have a solid product or a solid service, then it's all about how are we going to get the message across, how are we going to drive traffic. The other thing that we've been focused on top of our SEO has been a lot of analytics. We really love watching the numbers go up. I mean, after watching this last post, I mean, I got pumped up, ready enough for another one tonight, talking about the website after somebody asked about it. You know, I'm looking over here now. We have 45 views. Let's refresh it. That's when we first started this podcast right now. Now we're at, it's 45. It'll be fine. I'll live. But we'll see just in case. So, let me see. Somebody just joined the chat. www.thehomegrownenerpreneur.com. Thanks for joining. This is going to be posted feed, but I just basically, 46. So we've moved up 1 view since we've started, which is pretty impressive. I mean, really, in the scheme of things, we're basically starting off with nothing. So the other part of a website that we focus a lot on is the blog side. I think that's the other part that the homegrown entrepreneur is going to have to offer is when we do these interviews with business owners, one of the services I'd like to provide back to them is I'd like to first get the interview, send the raw data right after the interview's over with, literally right in front of them. I want to post it in a Dropbox and then they pick it back up. And finally, I want to create a blog for them so it shows this is what I've interpreted from this information on top of what we're showing the audience and how they interpret whatever the message is that's coming across from the entrepreneur. So the blog page has been a major focus. It's been a lot of fun for me. I used to read blogs all the time, still do. So it's really great to take interesting information, put it in a workable format, and post it for the public to see. It's really great to be creating something for once. So I guess with the website, we're constantly learning, always adding new plugins. Plugins are like apps. So we're constantly adding new things to the website to see what can we create the functionality to be better? How are we going to get the SEO to pick up? How are we going to monitor any of our analytics? And then several other things down to layouts and adding sharing buttons that have funky functions. It's really exciting. I mean, it really is fun once you kind of get into it. And then I look forward to having more and more interviews with podcasts. So the next small snippet of a video I plan on doing probably tomorrow or Wednesday will be telling y'all how I started the actual business. Now, bear with me, that will only be 3 minutes. It's very quick. So thank you again for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed The Homegrown Entrepreneur. I'll see you again soon.